Okay, you guys have seen my pull down concept for 22 Magnum. If you don't have a speed loader, or even if you do have a speed loader, what you do is you pull one round down or two rounds down for a reload, and this hangs on your belt loop. And then this one here is one for 22 short that I made. A couple quick rounds of 22 short. Now some people wonder if that's going to stay there, if it's going to fall on the ground. It won't fall on the ground because I tested them even in hot weather, stuff like that. The reason why it's not going to fall is because you're not using it, you're setting it and just pulling it and testing it a couple times and then putting it back, leaving it be. Same thing with this, with 38s. So we got 38s here, we got 22 short, and 22 Magnum. Now 22 Magnum, this was done with straws, and these are the thicker commercial grade straws. And I think I got them at Arby's or something like that. I'm not sure where I got them, but they're the ones that are a little bit thicker. They're not so thin. They don't crack or break or anything like that. And same thing, I tested these and they worked out fine. So this is 6 shots for my LCRX 22 Magnum that I have, the one in 7/8 inch barrel or whatever, by Ruger 22 Magnum. And then I got a Charter Arms 8-shot 22, and I use 22 short in there sometimes. But I got 2 here that I can hang down on my belt loop or whatever. Or I could add 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, however many I want. Same thing with this. 38 rounds, I think I could add like maybe 5 or something and have it sitting this way rather than this way, so that way it stays put or whatever and it doesn't move around a whole lot. So the things that I was using for this project, this is just kind of like a beta version, if you know what that means, beginning some ideas and then kind of improving as I go. So maybe Macarbo, that guy on YouTube, can figure something out for me, where there's a spring-loaded version where I can just push something where a spring is activated so that I can pull a round out real quick. You know, kind of like a Pez dispenser or something like that. And the whole concept behind this is that, you know, if you're running around and doing something or doing cartwheels or whatever, your ammo is going to stay with you. It's hooked on your belt loop. So you could do cartwheels and the ammo is still going to be there. It might go like this, but you're still going to be connected to your ammo. And that's really important because although a pouch, you could hold 100 rounds or whatever, when you open up that pouch, you know, it's open temporarily. And if you bump into something, you could spill all them rounds out on the ground. And a lot of guys know about speed loaders too. If you mess up on a speed loader, you mess them all up. Because if you got one that ain't going to go in or something like that, then you're going to have trouble. Whereas if you just grab a couple rounds and let's say you're at cover or something, and you got a couple shots left and you have time, maybe pop a couple in, that kind of thing. So that's the concept right there. And for certain circumstances, it would work, and some others it might not. Just depends on what you're up against or whatever. But it's nice to have a few backup rounds like this. And I know some guys that have the Bond Derringer pistols, you know, where 2-shot or whatever, they can just reach, you know, grab 1 or 2 right here and put them in rather than that little box that they give you underneath the firearm where you can pull out a couple of rounds. That just takes more time. But if you can pull 1 like this or 2 or even 1 if you had to, whatever, you know, you needed for speed or whatever. But you could do time trials on these, and I have done time trials, and I figured out that if I just pull 2 rounds, it's better than a speed loader. Now, granted, you don't have as many shots, but at least from cover, if you had an emergency, you get the rounds in quickly, and you can start firing them 2 shots and make them count, that kind of thing. So I always believe in having extra ammo on you. Even if you have a revolver, you want to have, you know, some extra ammo, some loose ammo in your pocket or hanging on your belt loop like this. So let me show you the materials that I made or I used for this. Well, actually, it's a ruler right here. That's the first thing. And the ruler, what I did is I measured them to, I'd say about 1 inch. And then the hole right here, I dropped down to 1/4 inch to make the hole. Oops, sorry. Let me start over. So about 1 inch, and the hole over here is a 1/4 inch over. So I popped a hole in it. So the overall length is 1 inch, and then a 1/4 inch in for the hole. And what I use for the hole is one of these leather punch things. So you squeeze down, not too tight or anything, because you have a brass base there. But you want to squeeze down, and you want to kind of twist. You want to kind of twist and go like this. If you have a bad base or whatever that's marred up, you can just go like this and then twist side to side, and it'll spin in a circle so that you can get it out without a little bit getting stuck in there. But you can always put this back on and fix it though. So anyway, I need another one of these. I broke off this part right here somehow. I think I dropped it or something. So I need another one for that size right there. And then you can also sand down this brass base right here. You see where them lines are cutting in? You can kind of sand down that brass there. So the material I was using is inside diameter. This kind of pipe, I don't know what it is. It's some kind of, I don't know if it's a water pipe or fuel pipe or what it is, but this stuff here, the inside diameter, it's important that you know the inside diameter. So the 38ths, the inside diameter is 3/8 for this one. And the inside diameter for 22 and 22 Magnum, this is a 1/4 inch, and this is anywhere from 40 to 50 cents a foot. So I don't know what kind of tubing this is, but I'm sure you've seen this kind of tubing in your hardware store or something, but it's just plastic tubing. So that's what I used to make it. This right here, a ruler, a punch, and then what you want to do is you could order on eBay or Amazon or whatever, or you can go down to your local hardware store and get a carbiner, I think they're called. This is a big one, and I got 2 smaller carbiners for the 38s because when you pull, there's a little more tension there, so you need something strong. So when you pull, they'll come out. And what you want to do to break these in is pull them in and out, in and out, in and out, and in and out till you get the right tension. Because the first tension you're going to have is real strong. And then after that, it'll loosen up a little bit, and then you don't want to touch it. You want to leave it inside there so that in an emergency only, you're going to grab one. Okay, you're going to pull down, and it's on your belt loop, so it's got something to resist. Or you might be able to fit it on your belt loop right here too, or your belt, if you have a good strong belt or something. So it's up to you what you want to do with that. But once again, this is a good one for, Bond Arms, 38 special. A couple guys, might be shooting or whatever, and you might want a couple rounds. You fire 2 shots, you got a couple spare shots right here. So for Bond Arms Derringers. So same thing with this one. That's why I made these samples. This is 22 short right here. You can see 22 short. And of course, we got 22 Magnum. Now, what I could do with 22 Magnum, now that I found something that's going to be probably a little bit thicker and a little bit better, what I can do is I can remake these 22 Magnum ones here. I got 6 of them, and I can do it with this tubing right here. And then, of course, you're going to take the punch and do it with the punch or whatever. Now, I was on Amazon, and I did see wrist reloads, so some guys already got some leather thing, and it's probably been around for, gosh, maybe hundreds of years, where a guy's got a piece of leather on his wrist, and when he turns his wrist this way, there's places where you can put like 4 rounds, and you just grab from the back of your wrist and reload your revolver, because you're holding your revolver right here, okay? You're holding your revolver right here, and with your right hand, you're going to grab, a couple rounds, and your workspace is only 6 inches away, maybe even closer than that. So your workspace, the closer your workspace is, the faster you can get the rounds in. So a wrist reload, a couple right here, and a leather type pouch thing. And then at the end of the bullet, there's a little bit of resistance. There's like a bump on the leather. So imagine this is inside of a piece of leather. And then right at the end here where you pull the shell out, or pull the 38 out, there's a little bump there of resistance, so that way it doesn't fall out or whatever. So you pull it from your wrist with your right hand right here. You pull that sucker out, put it in. Even if it's only one round, you can reload one round. And you do want to practice loading just one round and 2 rounds and firing them, so that if something did happen where you only had 1 or 2 rounds because you fumbled around and you messed up your speed loader, at least if you had a couple of rounds in, you'd know where the cylinder is going to be. So Charter Arms, it's going to be clockwise because it's like Colt. And my, what is it called? Well, I forget what it is. I got a Chiappa. Yeah, it's a Chiappa single action 22 6-shot. I got one of them. And that barrel length is like 4.5 or something like that. And that Chiappa, the thing about that too is, I might carry something like this, a few of these rounds for the Chiappa if I'm out in, the woods or something, or plinking or whatever. But I don't really concealed carry single action pistols too much. I do once in a while, but if I did, I'd have a pouch too on me where I could dig in and get loose ammo and stuff like that. So no matter what I have on me, I always believe in having extra ammo. So like I was saying, you got the wrist thing, you got these pull downs that I was thinking about that I made. I didn't see anybody that made any pull downs yet except for me. So maybe somebody did it before. There's always somebody that said they did it, and then the person that said they did it, somebody else said they did it before them, said they did it for them, said they did it before them, and pretty soon you got, some guy, caveman or something, that said he did it. So it goes all the way back. I'm serious. Ideas and patents and stuff, they go all the way back. I'm serious. Where somebody said that somebody said that somebody said that somebody said that they did it before you, that they did it before you, that they did it before you. It's crazy, man. So I'm going to show you one more time this concept here of the pull down, and this is for either convenience, a way to keep your ammo on you at all times. So if you get in a struggle or something, you're not going to spill all your ammo on the ground, or you're not going to fall on your speed loaders and mess your speed loaders up. So this is just kind of like a Hail Mary, I guess you call it, and you can make a necklace out of that with paracord. That black paracord, all you got to do is cut it and burn the ends, and you get a nice plastic shell on the end of both parts of the rope or whatever. But you could take some paracord and use it as a necklace and stuff like that. Have a couple of rounds dangling or whatever. Conversation piece for somebody to talk about. But I think these are kind of cool, and you can add however many you want. You can add 1, you can add 20, 30, 40, whatever. Whatever you want. And obviously the other thing is a belt loop cartridge holder. That's one thing too. But like I was saying before, if you get in a struggle and, you fall on them or something, or you start dropping them on the ground when you're at the mall, or, you really have to make sure that belt loop is in really good condition so that the bullets don't come out on you when you're walking around or whatever. So some kid sees a 22 on the ground or something like that and, hits a hammer on it or something, you could be responsible for ammo. So that's why I test these to make sure that they're always going to work and perform the way I want them. And they're dropping on the lead. They're not dropping on the primer. So at least that's what we think, you know what I mean? So, but even if it dropped on the primer, I don't think it would go off. It's got to have some weight now. These 38s, the primer back here, you get a little rock or something, you might just get her to go off. So it's got some weight to it, 158 grain here. But anyway, that's one of the little concepts. And then a lot of you guys know that I've been messing around with this construction foam. A lot of craft items and kids items sometimes come in handy for different projects. Like, for instance, this is that construction foam, where they cut out animals and stuff different colored animals or whatever. And this was just a little concept where I had this kind of like as a speed strip or whatever, but also it could be a necklace idea where you have a necklace and you pull the rounds off the necklace or something like that, and you pull them through here. And the same thing with this is it's not really meant to be used. So once they're in there, you pretty much leave them. You test them out to make sure they work, but now you got tension because you're not using it a whole lot. So say if you were in a defense situation, you had to pull a couple or whatever, this stuff is so cheap, just replace it with a new strip, you know what I mean? But it's highly unlikely you're going to be in a defense situation to begin with. So this is more a thing of convenience. And I've seen guys do this with pellets and make a necklace, where you can hold a bunch of pellets and stuff. So you pick one pellet off your necklace or whatever, or on your rifle. Because pellets are so small and they're so short that sometimes it's better to have something like this where you can put your 177 pellet in there and just pull it out like that, pluck it out. And you would pluck it out by the head, not the skirt. So, because the skirt would be right here, not going through the other side, and then you just pluck it out by the head or whatever. So round nose pellets and flat nose pellets would probably work the best because you could get a grip on them and pull them out. Now the tension on this is only about 1 pound. So these are not going to come through the other side. They're not going to just drop through the other side. You do need, 1 or 2 pounds of tension to pull them out. So anyway, that's just the concept, that I've been thinking about and stuff like that. A guy could even make a vest out of this or something like that. You take a big, huge piece and like have 100 rounds, inside your vest like this or whatever, but then somebody would see the points or whatever. Or you could have them sideways like that or something. You could figure out a bunch of things with these. And I know there is such a thing as a bandolier too. There's bandoliers that hold 50, 100 rounds for 22 long rifle already. But bandoliers, you got that clicking belt clipper thing that you clip to, you put together, and it's like a belt or whatever, and it snaps shut, and you put it like around your chest or your waist while you're wearing a winter jacket, and the bandolier holds your 50, 100 rounds or whatever. I do that with 308. I'll wear 20 rounds or so. In the wintertime, I'll have a bandolier on of 20 rounds of 308, and I'll have my 308 bolt action rifle like in the vehicle and stuff like that. So, and I do have an AR-15, but sometimes I might have the 308 with me. So that's got a red dot sight on it. And the thing about that is if the red dot isn't working, you can just look through the glass and look wherever the center of that glass is, that's where the bullet's going to hit. So that's what's nice about it, is you can kind of train yourself, and I've done it with 2 liters at 25 yards, to just pull the trigger and hit the bottle without even having the dot on. So without even a little X or anything. Like in the screen, if this was a screen right here, there wouldn't be any little X. It'd be just clear like this. But what you would do is you would assume that this is a lens you're looking through. What you would do is just perfectly center it like that. Take 3 shots, find out where your shots are going, and then you'll kind of know where to hold for the shots and stuff at 25 yards. And if you hit a 2 liter, if this was a 2 liter at 25 yards, if you keep hitting 2 liters at 25 yards, you're good for defense. If there's some road rage incident or something like that, if you're further than 25 yards away, you're going to be able to get that light going anyway. Or if the light's burnt out, like I said, you can kind of just use the lens and center the object and find out where you're hitting, like sight it in at the range and kind of see what's going on with it. If you should have to use the lens, without the dot lighting up or whatever, if the battery fries out on you at the wrong time. But anyway, take care. Thank you very much for watching. Looks like I almost got 20 minutes in on this one.